Oh my God, come on in. Holy shit, here we go. Here we go. Welcome back to Student Transparency. I knew it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time because it happened last year, actually, and it only took them a year to like get with the times. I told you this case was going to be a wow one. We're going to be on it. We got the schedule too. Everybody needs to know about this though. Can we just pencil in the United States women's hockey gold now? Again, welcome back to the Transparency. You guys, this is the real deal. The motion to withdraw the plea has been filed. I told you guys this was coming, and I told you guys this was coming a year ago. Motion to withdraw the plea. Here it is in the Shanna Gardner case, okay? Henry Tenon, the guy that the state used and said, hey, if you plead, you're going to plead guilty to this and we're going to give you blah, blah, blah. You're going to do all these things. Well, let's talk about it, okay? Check this out. Motion to withdraw plea. Defendant Henry Arthur Tenon by and through his undersigned attorney. Oh, look at his new attorney, Julie Schluxa. She was not his attorney. Okay. He had some guy by the name of I don't even know, Copenhagen, Mager, Breaker 19. You guys, whoa. Do you guys know how hard the state tried to keep Henry with his old attorney? I mean, this is absolutely wild. Okay. Henry Tenon is withdrawing his plea. He refuses to testify against Mario Saldana and Shanna Gardner. Now, since Diane Menashe has joined the staff over there in Florida, the death penalty has come off the table. They've performed so many depositions, I can't even keep count anymore. I've been putting it out there how many depositions they've had. They're doing their job. But since Diane out of Columbus here has joined Shanna Gardner's team with Jose Baez, the death penalty has come off the table. And now Henry Tenon, which he was already on this path, but they tried to cock block that over there in Jacksonville. I can't wait to cover this case in person because I'm going to be advocating so much for, Jose Baez came out and he stood on those steps so much so that I want to play you guys this video. I'm going to play this video, and this video matters to me, and it should matter to all of us. So I'm going to remind everybody, Jose came out on the footsteps and said, hey, pay attention here. This is not what y'all think it is. This just isn't what it seems. Please, we need to have eyes on this. I don't normally do this. And I was like, okay, wow. No, he doesn't need to do that. He just performs in the courtroom. Well, by God, let's take a look.
The reason I've asked you to come out here today is because a matter of great importance and public interest has arisen, and I think it's important for everyone to have a certain amount of transparency as to what's actually going on in this case. I will start by saying this is not something I do often. I think this case is equally important to everyone because if this is the type of conduct and these are the type of things that are done in this case, when everyone is watching, you can only imagine what's being done when no one is watching.
Yes.
And I think these cases are incredibly important for that. And trust me, I have extensive experience in cases that are high profile, where people are watching. And if you're sloppy and you do this in a high profile case, you absolutely do it when no one's watching. And that's a scary thought here. It's a scary thought when I employ all of you who are here to, we're trying to do our job. We want you to ask the tough questions.
Absolutely.
Don't take the guided tour.
We will not.
This case is not as simple and as open and shut as it
Fuck
has
yeah.
been laid out to be. You have only heard one side of this case.
Absolutely.
And what's coming out of it
reeks.
And I think all of you, I think it's your journalistic responsibility to
I'm
seek out and ask them, why are you putting on a police officer who's lying on the stand? Why are you allowing that to happen? Why aren't you recording meetings with very important critical witnesses? Why are you not getting these statements completely locked down? And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you there's a very good reason, and the reason is an obvious one. So I would ask that all of you, and even those who are listening, to seek out and ask these questions and hold them to their level of professionalism. And I can tell you this, it gives me no pleasure to stand here and do this, none whatsoever. I hate it with every being, every part of my being. But I will do it. I will fulfill my oath as an officer of the court and as the lawyer who's been entrusted with Shanna Gardner's life.
Absolutely.
They're not going to get away with lying in the courtroom. We're not going to stop.
They're not going to get away with lying in the courtroom. I've been entrusted with somebody's life. There was, at the time, dude, Shanna Gardner facing not only just like life in prison. No, she's facing the death penalty, okay? So you're entrusting me with someone's life, okay? And here, Jacksonville is literally putting people on the stand who knowingly are lying. I've gone through the discovery. I got information that was not publicly available. People didn't even know that it was publicly available. We got the ATF reports. I have every ATF agent's report. I have every report that was not blacked out in the discovery. I've put it out here on my channel. I've been begging people to look at this case because this is why. And it has to do with this motion to withdraw a plea. Defendant Henry Arthur Tenon, by and through his undersigned attorney, Julie Shalax, who was not his attorney when this all started. I forget his name. It was some fucking old dude. He was, I know that sounded like some old dude, but really what I was trying to say is he was old, period. And then I was trying to tell all of you guys, dude, listen. He is what you call a statesman, okay? He is a public defender that literally underhand shit for the state because they both are all getting paid by the same person. Now, on January 22nd or 26, 2023, Mr. Tenon was arrested for second-degree murder with a firearm, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, accessory after the fact, and child abuse. On February 1st, 2023, the state of Florida filed a formal information charging second-degree murder with a weapon, conspiracy to commit murder, accessory after the fact, and child abuse. On March 16th, 2023, Mr. Tenon entered a plea of guilty to count 1, second-degree murder, with a weapon, with a negotiated range of sentence. The specific language used in the plea agreement was, and I want you guys to all see this. Okay, so I'm going to take off my boy Jose and show you guys. Now here, look at this language. And I was like, guys, it's coming. It's coming. Take a look at this language. It said, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder with a weapon. Adjudicated guilty. State waives the sentencing guidelines, comma. Defendant agrees to testify truthfully against any co-defendants, comma. State will drop counts 2, 3, and 4 at the time of sentencing if defendant has testified truthfully, comma. Sentence will be imposed by the judge who will be assigned to the division rather than the substitute judge who takes the plea, comma. So you're, comma, sentence will be at least 15 years in prison, period. Both parties acknowledge that the sentencing court will give weight to the defendant's life expectancy, his early and continuing cooperation in the prosecution of co-defendants, and will hear all parties, including members of the victim's family, in considering the appropriate sentence. No period, no nothing. The parties have stipulated to jail credit since arrest on 8/18/2022. Now I said to myself, why would you ever be like, hey, look at this. This is what these sons of bitches literally put here. This is your life that you're agreeing to, right? Look at this. And this is all that's in there. That's what was put in here. This is what we're looking at. Like, that's the language. Okay. Ready? Now, on November 15th, 2023, Mr. Tenon was listed by the state of Florida as a testifying co-defendant in this case. A and B. A, Gardner, B, A was, I think, Mario, and B was Shanna Gardner. The state of Florida versus Mario, and then Shanna Gardner. Now, number 4 is Mr. Tenon has informed the undersigned counsel that he will not testify. That he will not testify against. He tried to say this a year ago, folks. This is nothing new to Miss Oriani here, who's been informing you guys that he will not testify against Shanna Gardner. Okay? Or Mario. Neither one is he going to testify against. Mr. Tenon is seeking to withdraw his previously entered plea of guilty and to proceed to trial. Mr. Tenon has not been sentenced. Mind-blowing. A testifying co-defendant, right? When I was reading the discovery, I'm like, this dude just sat there and told you that A, he wants a lawyer, that I can't help you get that son of a bitch, whatever. But more importantly, I said, this tire bothers the shit out of me. This tire bothers the shit out of me. How they say that they found the truck bothers the shit out of me. So much so that I just simply read and digested the shit out of that discovery. And I did my own timeline, and I came up and I said, there's just not enough time for this. There's just no way this happened organically, as they tried to claim, unless you're using like, oh, ATF was involved. Oh, federal. Where are any of those reports? Okay. And I'm just like, this is all lies. And then, oh, you think there's just going to be a tire waiting for the police when they had just arrived 6 months later on property? Get the fuck up out of here. Okay. No fucking way. Okay. I said, this is unbelievable. It is one thing. Go ahead, get the evidence against people, but God damn it, we are not going to railroad people. We are not going to plant evidence. We are not going to stand by and just watch this shit. They wanted Shanna Gardner so bad. They wanted Mario Sada. Listen, evidence will exist if people commit crimes. I'm telling you, it's there. Imagine, how did we, before we had technology, how are we able to get convictions in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 90s, even in the early 2000s? Why are we railroading people in the 2020s of the world? What the hell are we doing? Okay? You can make anybody look guilty with circumstantial evidence in this day and age. Now, unbelievable. They may be guilty of sin, but I'm going to tell you this right now. We have to stop. We have to stop allowing people with power and authority to just do whatever they want. A motion to withdraw a plea prior to sentencing is governed by the Florida Rule of Criminal Procedure here at 3.170F. So it states that rule. Okay. So he is withdrawing his plea. And do you remember how they threatened him? They said, you do realize if you withdraw this plea, you are facing, like, we're going to come at you with life. Okay. We're going to come at you with the death penalty. I've been putting this out for over a year, if not 2. I've been covering this case since 2022. This is fucking nuts. This case actually is how I'm able to prove that the timing advance records in the Brian Colbert case existed past the 7 days because of this case. This ATF agent, if Ann Taylor plays her cards right, which I think she's already doing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and sign my channel name to it. I know that she's doing. If she plays her cards right, there's cases out there and there's agents out there that can prove the fact of the timing advance that Ann Taylor was speaking about. This case happened in 2022 in February, okay? The Idaho 4 case happened in 2022 in November. That should just tell you, if you're able to do something in, 6 to 8 months prior to that date of when that crime happened, just think about that. Now, the trials of Gardner and Mario are currently scheduled to begin August 10th, and we will be there. Okay? Mr. Tenon requests this honorable court to exercise her discretion to permit Mr. Tenon to withdraw his previously entered plea of guilty and set his case for trial. Holy shit! I knew it was coming. And it's just, you guys, this took a year. Do you want to know how many depositions have happened over the past couple months? So much so that I sent a tip in and I said, why don't you ask, Shanna Gardner supposedly was talking in Spanish, to people that were in her cell block or some shit like that. I was like, Shanna Gardner doesn't know how to speak Spanish. I said, why don't you call her friends to the stand and ask her if she can speak Spanish? Okay. Shanna Gardner was always telling her friends, dude, I hate it when Mario talks in Spanish to his friends. Okay. Whoever he's talking to on the phone, whether it's friends, family, whoever, when he chooses to talk in Spanish, I don't understand it, and I hate it. You guys all know what that's like when you're dating somebody or married to somebody, and when they want to talk, oh, you did all that with your mom on the phone and you talked in whatever. It's just so I couldn't understand what the fuck y'all were talking about. Okay. That's what Mario did. So now think about that in the sense of setting up a crime here. If Mario was in fact involved in this and Shanna Gardner had no idea, right? Because Mario wants to keep his tight little, hey, I like my little lifestyle here. If Shanna Gardner divorces me, where am I at? Okay. For people to sit here and say that they're going to bring in these jail bait snitches is exactly what Jose Baez said was going to happen. And that's why he was trying to get her out of being in county so they couldn't infiltrate and say that we're going to bring forward these 5 jailhouse snitches that are going to sit here and tell us, just like they did in the Adelson case, okay, that you were saying X, Y, and Z. Well, 2 of those people, they don't speak English. And they're trying to ascertain that Shanna Gardner was speaking to them in Spanish. And I said, get the fuck out of here. I said, bring her friends in. I said, ask her friends about Shanna Gardner speaking Spanish. She doesn't speak Spanish. She couldn't understand Mario when he spoke it. Try me. So going back to here, I want to withdraw my plea, and we're asking Judge Kite to sign this. And guess what? It's happening. It's done. It's a done deal. He's withdrawing his plea. And so guess what? That's the state star witness. Henry Tenon is the state star witness. So not only did they just depose Bridegan's wife, Kirsten, before that they deposed the shit out of the whole ATF. They deposed they deposed everybody in the that matters in Jacksonville that has to do with the detectives unit. This is the most, this trial this coming summer, it's not going to be like your Brian Kober case. This is not a public defender. This is bought and paid for in millions of dollars for this defense. And it has literally Henry Tenon has withdrawn. Shanna Gardner is no longer facing the death penalty. Okay. And Nelson, who's leading the DA's office over there, she's going to have a lot to answer to because their investigation is 1,000%. Again, I don't know if people are guilty or not, but all I can tell you is the investigation is illegal. It's an illegal investigation. That's what I will say. And we haven't even gotten to motions to suppress and motions in limine. We're here in February, and anybody that's going to trial and they're a trial attorney, they know that August is right around the corner. Okay. They couldn't even get their hands on the discovery. There's a taint team that fucked so much shit up. This case, they couldn't even get the discovery in the defense's hands because they weren't even able to get stuff on the server correctly. They weren't able to get stuff on to hard drives. And so basically they themselves, the state, withdrew the death penalty, and they made it seem like it was a mercy withdrawal because we don't want to have the kids without their mother. No, you can say whatever you want, but that's not why you withdrew the death penalty. You were up against your asses and you were getting your asses handed to you. That's the truth.
We seek justice in this case. They're not going to get away by creating evidence, and we're not going to allow that to happen in this case. I certainly hope that lying in the courtroom, we're not going to stop until we seek justice in this case. They're not going to get away by creating evidence, and we're not going to allow that to happen in this case. I certainly hope that if there's any ambiguities, that they clear them up immediately, that they explain why they didn't record that meeting, why they didn't file a police report on that meeting, why Detective Johns is lying about speaking to a person when in fact he actually did, lying as to why she changed her number when in fact she still to this day has not changed her number. There's no reason any of these things could have had to have occurred in this case. If they really have a case, if their case is as open and shut as they say it is, to the point where they're confident enough to seek the ultimate penalty of death, then none of this should be going on. None of this. And the fact that they expect us to stand by and let it occur just isn't going to happen.
We're not going to stand by and let it occur. He said, hey, journalists, where you at? Hey, journalists, where you at? Hey, journalists, where you at? Okay. Well, I've been right here. I've been screaming from the rooftops. Read the discovery. It's a goddamn joke. Okay. It's a joke. How they say they got to this tire, how they have these co-defendants that have never been indicted. It is literally a joke. But look it around. Where's mainstream media? They refuse to cover it. They refuse to cover it. Why? Because it does not go with their narrative. Because it's going to go against the House. And when you go against the House, you don't get the media attention. And so keep listening to your fluff channels out there. But I'll tell you this right now. They're going to get their asses fucking waxed. Jacksonville is going to get their asses will be waxed by Diane, Jose, and the rest of the entourage. They are that good that even if they're guilty, they're going to lose because they're that fucking sloppy. Okay. And that's a shame for Jared Bridegan's family. And they should be demanding more. But you know what? When you cheat and you're always a cheater, this is what the fuck you do. The ATF is about to get their hands, literally their asses in them. Key West boomerang style. I'm telling you, it is coming. And if the channels out there want to keep fluffing it off, go right ahead. Then you can keep just selling it to yourselves. Keep selling it. Because idiots buy it. Idiots buy it. But we don't buy it here. We'll see you in the next one.